What's up, everyone? You know who I am. I'm Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw. Yeah, check us out on YouTube. We'll drop them likes and subscribe, man. Subscribe. Right now, we're doing the second issue of Hellboy. Yes, Seeds of Destruction, where Hellboy learns more about his mysterious origin, where he came from, and why the man who raised him, the professor, had to die at the hands of strange-looking frogs. Yes, and they examine this house, this cursed house. For this woman, this psychic, was an original member of the group that found Hellboy, and the curse that has always followed this psychic. See, this land, everything about it is cursed, and each male for 9 generations have disappeared and died. But as the Hellboy's group pulls up, they identify themselves, and this is the first appearance that you actually get to see of Abe Sapien. She leaves them in the house, all prim and proper, offering them tea, explaining the curse a bit more, and that she had just lost her sons. And she keeps asking to take Abe's coat and hat, but yet he doesn't want them to be taken. Now, this is basically the story that I was telling you about, that for generations and generations, the males of the family have been cursed, disappeared, or some tragedy befell them over the original relative finding a piece of parchment, reading it, and cursed his entire family. And now the men, including her own sons, have disappeared, vanished into the darkness, the ether. And though Hellboy feels sorry for her, there's something else lurking in the house, a dark feeling, an essence. And as she goes on to explain, she says the rooms are ready for them and she will give them more of an explanation tomorrow as the sun rises. For it is late, she is tired, overtaxed by the story that she had just told. But as she sits there in the darkness, a voice calls out to her, and she says, "Do we still have a deal?" He says, "Yes. I will bring your sons back. They will embrace you one more time." And of course, in his own way, he does keep this deal. And this is where we also meet Liz, a pyrotechnic, whose fire powers were beyond her control as a child, but she was taken in, just the same as Hellboy, and now she works for the same group he does. And as they begin to examine the evidence, they find the butler looks familiar too. He was also there that night that Hellboy had come into this earth. But now it's time for Abe to do his job, to lurk around the lake, to see if they can find anything. And they kind of explain Abe Sapien's origin. They found him around the time that Abraham Lincoln was shot. That's how he kind of got his name. It's sort of a sad joke, but Abe Sapien has embraced it nonetheless. And he dives into the water, searching, looking for any kind of clue. As Hellboy is on the phone with Liz, she says that she sees frogs. Yes, frogs. And this panics Hellboy. He tells her to get out, and get out now. For he saw what the frogs did to his father, and he busts in and finds nothing but a cigarette, extinguished. And this enrages Hellboy, for he has a thing for Liz, and her has a thing for him. He sees frogs, and as he grabs the butler demanding answers, he begins to shift and turn into one of the creatures that Hellboy has seen before. The same creature that destroyed the man that he called father, the professor. And now, before this creature fully transforms, Hellboy tries to take the advantage and slugs him, which really does nothing. This creature is stronger, faster. And this is where Hellboy decides to use his other arm, the stone arm. And he begins beating the ever-loving life out of it. But the creature grabs him and throws him, and Hellboy stands. And Hellboy is mad, wondering where Liz is, still wanting vengeance for the professor. Hellboy strikes down, beating the creature unmercifully. As he knocks him off the balcony, Hellboy falls with him, ready to get answers, or ready to finish this creature off. Either or in his case, as he falls down, wondering where Liz is, if she's okay, and could he still save her. And as he grabs a statue, he decides that this frog has lived long enough and crushes his skull. And Hellboy stands there, wondering what to do next, how he's going to find Liz, as Abe checks the murky depths, he realizes the water has gotten darker, and that this place is filled with death, both old and new. Abe heads to the top to give a report on what he found and what's going on. But the darkness reaches out to him too. As Hellboy wanders around, he sees the psychic and says, "Ma'am, ma'am." She just stands there, and he realizes that she's dead. Died the same way the professor did, as a voice calls out to him. A voice, a sorcerer, saying that he's been waiting 50 years in the shadows for Hellboy, and that he was the one that brought him from the Shadowland, and that he, and he alone, knows Hellboy's destiny, and it's time that he embraces it, one way or the other. As the ground beneath him breaks, it moves. A giant creature comes out with the same kind of suction cups, the tentacles the frogs have on their tongue, and it lifts him up and it begins draining him of his energy, just like it did to its other victims. As Hellboy struggles, for his hand is protected, but not the flesh. And the wizard says, "One way or another, you will join me. You will embrace your destiny, and you will be the key that opens everything. And with that right hand, you will embrace your destiny, or Rasputin will do it for you." As Hellboy gasps, reaching up with his hand, wondering what he's going to do next. Can anyone save him? We'll find out the next time, won't we? And I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.